My people, my brothers and sisters, we're back. Spiritual gumbo, touched by an angel. And before we get right into the main lesson, what we'll do a little small recap, just in case niggas have forgot where we was at. So last time we left off, Jacob got on a whole new level of the you know what, ran off with his babies, ran off with all the prize goats and all the prize sheep. So much so that Laban had to run this nigga down. But God came to Laban and said, don't you touch him, and don't you speak no hard words to him. So when Laban and Jacob or Jacob get together, there's an understanding that you don't cross this path, I don't cross that path. What's up, bro? What's popping? That's right. Now, before we get all the way into touched by an angel, we need to understand this is a literal lesson. Jacob at one point will be touched by an angel. Literally. So there is no bait and switch going on here, like in none of my videos. But, just in case people forgot again, where we really left off was verse... We're going to pick up on man, you know what? I want to go verse 1, chapter 31, and then go down from there. Because we're going to pick up where we need to get to. And Jacob heard the words of the sons of Laban, saying, Jacob has taken all that was our father's, and our father's property. He has gotten all this glory. And Jacob saw the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. So he can tell, bro ain't feeling him. Laban is no longer feeling Jacob. The way he felt day one is not the day he don't feel that way, the same way that day. Okay? Boom. Going forward. And the Lord said to Jacob, return to thy land of thy father and to thy family, and I will be with thee. And Jacob sent and called Leah and Rachel to the plain where the flocks were. And he said to them, I see the face of your father that is not toward me as before, but the God of my father was with me. And ye too, and you also know that with all my might I have served your father. But your father deceived me and changed my wages for 10 lambs. Yet God gave him power not to hurt me. Yet God gave him not power to hurt me. If he should say, thus the speckle shall be thy reward, then all the cattle would bear speckled. And if he should say, the white shall be thy reward, then all the cattle shall bear white. Then would all the cattle bear white. So God has taken away all the cattle of your father and given them to me. And it came to pass when the cattle conceived and were with young, that I beheld with mine eyes in sleep, and behold, the he-goats and ram leaping on the sheep, and the she-goats speckled and variegated and spotted with ash-colored spots. And the angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob. And I said, what is it? And he said, look up with thine eyes, and behold the he-goats, and the rams leaping on the sheep, and the she-goats, speckled and variegated and spotted, that Laban does to thee. For I have seen all things that Laban does to thee. I am God that appeared to thee in the place of God. I am God that appeared to thee in the place of God. Again, that's a straight up dictation that whoever he's talking to is not the actual Father. It's probably the Christ. Anyway, let's keep going. And vowest to me there a vow. Excuse me, whoa. I am God that appeared to thee in the place of God, where thou anointest a pillar to me, and vowest to me a vow. Now then arise and depart out of this land. Depart into the land of thy nativity, and I will be with thee, And Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, have we yet a part or inheritance in the house of your father? Are we not considered strangers by him? For he has sold us and quite devoured our money. So the money, all the things that Jacob came there with, right, to give as gifts, right, her daddy done spent up. Everything that it was worth, their daddy done fucked off. Excuse my language. Just understand what they're saying. They're like, nigga, our dad looks at us like we're not even one of his own now. He look at us funny. Now I have to make this normal language for people when they hear it coming back through. Because a lot of people may not understand that their father sees them as a stranger. AKA, my pops ain't fucking with me. Wow. But because there's a lot of people who just lack base level understanding. I have to break it down and make it real funky. Vulgar even. So that way the most basic mind can conceive these things. Moving forward. All the wealth and glory which God has taken from our father, it shall be ours and our children's. Now then, do whatsoever God has said to thee. And Jacob arose and took his wives and children upon the camels. And he took away all his possessions and all his store which he had gotten in Mesopotamia, and all that belonged to him, to depart to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. And Laban went to share his sheep, and Rachel stole her father's images. And Jacob hid the matter from Laban the Syrian, so as not to tell him that he ran away. Again, this is a setup for what's going on. Rachel has taken her father's images, her father's gods. Yaqub didn't speak. Jacob didn't speak about leaving. So now, here we go again. And he departed himself and all that belonged to him, and passed over the river, and went into the mountain Galaad. But it was told Laban the Syrian on the third day that Jacob was fled. And having taken his brethren with him, he pursued after him 7 days' journey, and overtook him on Mount Galaad. And God came to Laban the Syrian and sleep by night, and said to him, take heed to thyself, that thou speak not at any time to Jacob evil things. Now, I want to say this before we go any further. If Laban had been talking crazy, I mean stupid, dookie, doodoo, dumb, what are the chances, odds, compound probability, that when Jacob ran into his brother Esau, even if he was afraid of Esau, what are the chances he speaks and says to his brother, hey, bro, this nigga's tripping. Understand, Esau's all the way with the dookie, all the way with it. So no matter what you think, understand how this prevented a schism between first brother tribes, right, and first blooded people, because the Syrians are children through Nachor, right, the brother of Abraham. Abraham is a triplet. This has been discussed before in years passing. So again, we're not going to get boggled down in that, but we got to get to the part to where we can all talk about it. Now, we're going to skip some stuff, because we already read all this. Now, where we really left off was here. And Laban said, verse 43, chapter 32. And Laban answered and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, and the sons my sons, and the cattle are my cattle, and all things which thou seest are mine, and the property of my daughters. What shall I do to them today, or their children which they bore? Now then, come, let us make a covenant, both I and thou, and it shall be for a witness between me and thee. And he said, behold, there is no one with us. Behold, God is witness between me and thee. And Jacob, having taken a stone, set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said to his brethren, gather stones. And they gathered stones and made a heap. Now, who are Jacob's brethren other than the servants he was sent there with? Who are his homeborn? Who are the same blooded people that would have been the same type servants who his father gifted to Isaac? Right, his homeborn. Right, the actual people that are of the people like he is. Again, these are people from a royal bloodline. They're not regular people. They're not. We haven't even read about leprosy or any of the diseases that afflict people, other than a woman being barren and a man being impotent. True facts. Let's keep going. Skip, skip, skip. Verse 49. And the vision of which he said, let God look to it between me and thee, because we are about to depart from each other. And if thou shalt humble my daughters, and if shouldest take wives in addition to my daughters, see, there is no one with us looking on. God is witness between me and thee. And Laban said to Jacob, behold, this heap and this pillar are a witness. For if I should not cross over unto thee, neither shouldest thou cross over to me, for mischief beyond this heap and this pillar. The God of Abraham and the God of Nachor judge between us. Nachor is a Hebrew people. The Most High God is the God of the Hebrews. That's how he can be Abraham's God and Nachor, his brother. Just in case people are like, that's not possible. He only spoke to Abraham. The Most High God tells who? Moses, Moshe, Musa, whatever you want to call him, that he's the God of the Hebrews. Again, I'm not going to dictate this to people who should already understand and know this. Let us keep going. And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac, and he offered a sacrifice in the mountain and called his brethren, and they ate and drank and slept in the mountain. And Laban rose up. Now, unless it's talking about Laban calling his brethren, right, which he rolled out with, understand. I'm speaking from a point of view when I speak to my people, so that way you guys can all get it. We can all see that no matter who you're talking about, put that in the perception of put it in a certain view of perception. Don't just say, oh, it has to be this guy. Because sometimes you might read and find out like, it's not that guy that it's talking about. It's not that person that they're talking about. Because the more you read, the more you understand. The more you know, the more you get it. Anyhow. And here we are. And Laban rose up in the morning and kissed his sons, his grandsons, and his daughters, and blessed them. And Laban, having turned back, departed to his place. And Jacob departed for his journey. And having looked up, he saw the host of God encamped, and the angels of God met him. And Jacob said when he saw them, this is the camp of God. And he called the name of that place encampments. Now, there are stupid ass people who are going to try to tell you that Jacob's ladder is his spinal cord. So, again, I don't deal in allegories in the scripture. 0%. None. What it says is what the fuck it literally means. Excuse my language. So, when people say things like that, I know that they're not mentally sound. Let us keep reading. And Jacob sent messengers, verse 3, before him to Esau his brother to the land of Seir, to the country of Edom. And he charged them, saying, thus shall ye say to my lord Esau, thus saith thy servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban and tarried until now. Then were born to me oxen, asses, and sheep, and men servants and women servants. I sent to tell my lord Esau that thy servant might find grace in thy sight. And the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to thy brother Esau, and lo, he comes to meet thee, and 400 men with him. And Jacob was greatly terrified. and was perplexed. And he divided the people that was with him, and the cows, and the camels, and the sheep, into two camps. And Jacob said, if Esau should come to one camp and smite it, the other camp shall be in safety. And Jacob said, God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Lord, thou art he that said to me, depart quickly to the land of thy birth, and I will do thee good. Let there be to me a sufficiency of all the justice and all the truth which thou hast wrought with thy servant. For with this my staff I passed over this Jordan. And now I become two camps. Deliver me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I am afraid of him, lest haply he should come and smite me and the mother upon the children. But thou saidest, I will do thee good, and I will make thy seed as the sand of the sea, and which shall not be numbered for a multitude. And he slept there that night, and took of gifts which he carried with him, and sent out to Esau his brother 200 she-goats, 20 he-goats, 200 sheep, 20 rams, milk camels and their foals, and milk being milch, 40 kine, 10 bulls, 20 asses, and 10 colts. And he gave them to his servants, each drove apart. And he said to his servants, go on before me, and put a space between drove and drove. And he charged the first, saying, if Esau my brother meet thee, and he ask thee, saying, where art thou? And whither wouldest thou go? And whose are these possessions advancing before thee? Thou shalt say, thy servant Jacob's. He has sent gifts to my lord Esau, and lo, he is behind us. And he charged the first and second and the third and all that went before him after these flocks, saying, thus shall ye speak to Esau when you find him. And ye shall say, behold, thy servant Jacob comes after us. For he said, I will propitiate his countenance with the gifts going before his presence. And afterwards I will behold his face. For peradventure he will accept me. He's pretty much trying to say, I'm going to give this nigga so much shit that by the time he do see me, he not going to want to tear my head off no more. Because the way he was feeling 21 years ago, I pray he's not feeling now. Moving forward. So the presence went on before him, 21, but he himself lodged that night in the camp. And he rose up in that night, verse 22, and took his 2 wives and 2 servant maids and 11 children and crossed over the ford of Jabbok. And he took them and passed over the torrent and brought over all his possessions. And Jacob was left alone. Stop right here. And this is where it gets real interesting. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. Got to get refreshed. Let the spark up in a second. Been waiting all day for this one. I really have been waiting a whole week and some change to drop this piece. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you, bro. Thank you, thank you. Verse 24. And Jacob was left alone. Again, indication that alone can only be that way if you have company before. Because one who is lone never had company. Lone. versus alone dictate two different things. One being always by thyself, and another being left by thyself. Here we go. And a man, what? And a man wrestled with him till the morning. And he saw that he prevailed not against him. The man who was wrestling with Jacob saw that he did not prevail against Jacob. And he touched the broad, he did what? And he touched the broad part of his thigh. And the broad part of Jacob's thigh was benumbed in his wrestling with him. And he said to him, let me go, for the day has dawned. But he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said to him, what is thy name? And he answered, Jacob. And he said to him, thy name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. For thou hast prevailed with God, and shall be mighty with men. And Jacob asked and said, tell me thy name. And he says, wherefore dost thou ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of that place the face of God. For he said, I have seen God face to face, and my life was preserved. Stop right there. We all know he did not see the Most High God, the creator of heaven and earth, face to face. We all know that at very best, he saw the Christ. How we know this is because in the days of Moses, what does Moses do but ask God to manifest himself? And the Most High God says, no man shall see my face and yet live. So why would it have been different for Jacob than what it was with Moses? Even better question. If in the book of Enoch, it says that the Most High God shewed his face to the wolves, i.e. the Egyptians, who pursued the sheep into the Red Sea, and then once he showed his face, they turned back, but he swallowed them up with water. Now again, my people, and I know a lot of folks like to think that Christ is not an angel. The Christ is an angel. Yes, he is. He is a set apart angel, but he is the angel of the Lord. The, not an angel, the angel of the Lord. So again, when we read this right here, and I'm going to read it again so that way we're all on the same page. Verse 21, in the middle of it, and a man wrestled with him till the morning. And he, being the man that was wrestling with him, i.e. the angel, saw that he prevailed not against him. And he touched the broad part of his thigh. And the broad part of Jacob's thigh was benumbed in his wrestling with him. And he said to him, let me go, for the day has dawned. But he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. I'll only let you go if you bless me. That's it. That's how strong Jacob is. He's literally holding on to the Christ with all he's got. Understand how strong this dude really was, y'all. Like, this guy picked up a whole rock that blocked the well by himself. Dude, Jacob is powerful. And it doesn't matter how tall or how short you think he is. He's a powerful individual. Let's keep going. And he said, let me go, for the day has dawned. But he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said to him, what is thy name? And he answered, Jacob. And he said to him, thy name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. For thou hast prevailed with God. Stop right there. And we're going to go back again. And he saw that he prevailed not against him. So that, my brothers and sisters, The same word of prevailed is being used, you know what I'm saying? To tell us what it's a foreshadowing of what Jacob is going to do or about to do, which is prevail with. Come on. He did what? He said, thou hast prevailed with God and shall be mighty with men. Again, for all those that do not believe, that do not understand, Jacob was touched by an angel in this instance. This is the Christ touching this man, literally. He blessed him. He blessed him by giving him a name that had a whole new meaning. Now, when people talk about gang banging and all this stuff and what their hood name is, right? This nigga's government name is Jacob. His hood name, his gang banging name, right? His street name is, that's right, Israel. Understand that, my people. Let us keep going. And Jacob called the name of that place, the face of God. For he said, I have seen God face to face, and my life was preserved. Now we all know he didn't see the Most High God face to face. We know this because of who? Moses. Right. Now let's keep going. And the sun rose upon him when he passed the face of God, and he halted upon his thigh. Therefore, the children of Israel will by no means eat the sinew which was benumbed, which is on the broad part of the thigh until this day, because the angel touched the broad part of the thigh of Jacob, even the sinew which was benumbed. We're going to stop right there, brothers and sisters. I needed to get that little piece off. I don't want to go further into the Esau part. I want to, but I'm not going to. Because sooner than later, here in the next, 20-something chapters, we're going to be finished with the Exodus. And I'm taking my sweet ass time. I'm in no rush. Let us do a review now. Let me put this joint in my mouth and spark up. What did it just say here, my people? Just in case anybody thought I was bullshit. What does it say? And it says, quote, verse 32, therefore the children of Israel will by no means eat the sinew which was benumbed until this day, because the angel touched the broad part of the thigh of Jacob, even the sinew which was benumbed. Now, people say, but it said God, Meech. It said God. Don't be so fucking gullible, cuz. Just because it says that doesn't mean it means the Father. Again, read what was going on, understand the context, understand the Father's all-powerful presence. This being was not all powerful. You think if the Most High God was wrestling with the man, even if the Most High God took on the body of a man, you think he's losing to a man? You think he's just going to let a man hold him? No. But what's more than likely, when he said he saw the face of God, what kind of face y'all think he was looking at? This is why, again, our next video is going to really be called The Face of God. And I'm going to run back through this, and I'm going to go through the stuff with Esau, and we're going to start to really understand what these people look like. I got niggas on the internet now that are just now starting to admit that the Greeks were at least mixed looking, even though they were black people. They were niggas. I got dudes on the internet now just now admitting that the Romans were mixed looking, even though they were black people. I want y'all to understand something. How do you figure you have people who are in certain regions of the earth now who look just like me and you, who say they've always been there since the rip, since the jump, but somehow they're Johnny come latelys? Make it make sense. The first day, yesterday was the first time I ever seen my cousin G-check a nigga about his native roots. Where he told homeboy, he said, even before the white man came here, I had ancestors in this land, in Mississippi. Black as hell with straight hair. We just look like this now. We're an assimilation, amalgamation. I know niggas like me, you light skinned. You light skinned. But really, I'm not even light. I'm just brown. Am I kind of light? Sure, I'm light brown. But I'm not light. I'm not fucking yellow. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, my people. What color do you think Jacob was? Let's just imagine Jacob was black as fuck. Blurple. Even though I'm pretty sure he wasn't. Let's just imagine he was, though. Do y'all realize the angel he was looking at was Blurple? Right. Regular angels that came down to earth didn't always have straight yellow hair, pale white skin, and blue eyes. A great many of the angels look like regular people. A great many of the angels look like regular people. A great many of the angels had children that went on to look like regular people. To this day, some of their children look like regular people. Ask y'all this. If Victor Wembanyama is 7'7", and I'm 5'7", 5'8", how does that happen? If we're all the same genus group, how did he get so fucking big, and why am I so little compared to him? As far as height is concerned, not physical structure of the body. Right. You pick any dude who's a freak of nature like that, and then compare them to somebody who's much smaller. And yet, these dumbass niggas will tell you, we were all one blood. They got that from a dude who told you to think nothing of fables and endless genealogies. So how can we all be one blood? Again, I speak from a point of view of just base level understanding. I'm not trying to convince you to believe what I believe. Was I trying to convince y'all did it not say, quote, because the angel touched the broad part of the thigh of Jacob? Was he not touched by an angel? Yes or no? Yes or fucking no? Right. Is that allegory? Is that allegory? Is that shit make believe or put there for whatever fucking purposes? No. It says what it says for that reason. So niggas can understand it for that reason. Shit. Motherfuckers be thinking that Mises held on to this video for this long. I'm like, man, I hope they really get the deep part of what I'm trying to get at. My brothers and sisters, I deal in literal teaching and knowledge. Literal. When I do be getting in the esoteric and the divine, I tell you that's where I'm going. This is a literal lesson. The man was literally touched by an angel. Like, I mean, and they can say, Meech, the Sumerians wrote this part, and they got this part from the Phoenicians. Then they got this part from the Egyptians, and then they hodgepodged all the writing together. I don't give a fuck. They were all still talking about one people, a particular group of people. Yes, they were. Y'all want me to think that the Egyptians were talking about themselves, having sex with animals and all this weird ass shit? You want me to believe that? If that's what you're contending, I will, for the sake of contention, listen to the argument. But if your argument falls under the facts of the white man copied everything from Egypt, but you have no books from Egypt that sound like the Bible, no, not one. You can't bring up any piece of literature that would even give it credence to their claims. It's just a bunch of boisterous conjecture. It is literally the worst kind of conjecture. You know what I'm saying? And because these people practice a level of capricious impetuosity, meaning they do what they want based on how they feel. I'm not going to say you in particular, but you're being misguided because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I literally read what I said. The title of the video is literally damn near verbatim in the verse. People would argue with me, it's not an angel if the book didn't say it was an angel that touched it. My point is this, is that do people realize I remembered that before I was even reading it? And I was like, what am I going to call this next piece? That's what makes it last so long. And then I didn't want to get on because I've been dealing with so much, right? Like regular life stuff, that I don't want to bring any of that stuff into this. I just want to talk about the scripture. Is that okay? To want to speak on the Bible? Is that all right? Is it all right to want to actually talk about the Bible? Or am I not okay doing that? And should I just keep it to, people stealing all my good work, all my greatest works? The best is yet to come. But they've stole the greatest things that I've done. Because some of the greatest works is explaining the chicken or the egg. Noah's triplets. Before anybody told me anything else about any other triplets, I knew that I spoke about that and brought it up to my brother Andre, where he brought up and spoke about the fact that Abraham was indeed a triplet himself. And we sat there and we read it, and it reads the same exact way that Sem, Ham, and Japheth does. Like again, I don't have time to argue with people about stuff like this. I'm not going to. I'm not. I don't even care. The Bible talks about people going bald. Right? Why I bring that up is because there's a bunch of other things that don't talk about that people go through that I don't experience. That's not all my level of existence. So again, who are these people? Because if I'm telling you I look a certain way based on the description given, and I'm saying this is what I look like, who are the other people? Why are they so quick to try to tell me and you that they're us or that we're them? And they might not even know who they are, bearded or not. Can't trust these people, y'all. They're not trustworthy. Like, I'm really up in this nigga. Listen, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm just relaxing. I want my people to realize that Yaqub was touched by an angel, but he relished in the idea that the angel he saw was like seeing God. Now, if y'all want to think that Esau was the white man based on that, again, we talk about it so that way when we go into the next one, because I'm going to follow up quickly. I'm going to follow up quickly. I'm not going to do it tonight, but I'll probably fall into it. It could be as early as tomorrow morning. Be ready. If I'm saying this shit, for real, be ready. Because I'm going to fall right into this stuff with Esau. I have to dispel that he's the white man. And I have to dispel the fact that all the angels that came down were white looking. They weren't. This is how you have big black looking. Some of the angels that came down looking just like niggas. The Son of Man is the angel that is the Son of Man. People are like, what does that mean? That means that the other angels, wherever they came from, are the sons of other things. I'm not saying that there are no female angels. I'm saying that the dictation and the understanding through all the other indicators and dictators, what happens is this, is that it's the best way I'm going to say this. I won't call, again, I don't want to call it a schism because people can't see the Son of Man dealing with an angel that looks like a black person and the fact that people want the angel to be white. You get me? I cannot undo that thinking. You just have to look at on the earth and then see what you see and then tell yourself, do you really believe all the angels were white skinned? If Shaquille O'Neal is dark skinned and he's over 7 feet tall. Like, again, just think about all the people you've seen that are abnormally statured at the so-called Negro or nigger level. And then ask yourself, are any of these guys the children of Enoch? Are any of these guys the Gotharim, right on, right? The Patronosim, huh? Are these guys the Cosmonim? Like, who are they? Again, we're dealing when the stranger is higher up than us. So our real people, like the Most High God said, He said we're the least. So we're not the biggest, we're not the strongest. It's because He was with us, we were able to overcome all these guys. They have these weapons and these pieces of witchcraft that totally don't nullify anything, but it makes it to where they mitigate the greatness because they're using divine instruments. That's the only way I can say it. The instruments they're using are not regular instruments. This is not and I'm not going to go too long on this, but I have to get into this. Is that the instruments they're using are from the angels. Number one, Yaqub is touched directly by an angel who changes his name face to face. He's not blinded like Saul is, right? This dude is so strong, the angel has to give this man a permanent limp. And nobody eats the sinew, the gristle of the thigh to this day. Right, of any meat. Understand me, y'all. Do you know how powerful this angel has to be? Excuse me. Did it say he grabbed him? Did it say he yanked him? Did it say he pulled him? Huh? Huh? No, did it? Nothing. He was touched by the angel. So the angel is entertaining physical strength. If you've ever watched an anime, it'd be like a character who has powers only fighting in a base level fight where the punches, kicks, grapples, all those things. And for a moment, he's bested by a mortal or she's bested by a mortal. And then they show the mortal that I have powers. So I don't have to fight you like this. I'm fighting you on your terms, right? And because he was battling Jacob on his terms. The only one that could tell you that you prevail with God. The only one. Come on, y'all know who it is. Why y'all acting like y'all don't believe in the Christ? I'm not saying you don't literally. I'm just saying my people need to know. You go out here and you say white Jesus this and white Jesus that, but I back it up with belief in the actual Christ. He was real, y'all. He's real. One of us could bear that child. All we have to do is come out here and get together and actually be people amongst each other, and that's how it could happen. But beyond that, this man Yakub was touched by an angel, and I'm done. I'm gonna spark the rest of this up. We're gonna talk some talk, and then I'm up out of here in the next 5-10 minutes, man. I'm not gonna let it run down. This is one of them. If you know, barn burners for real, for real. I'm not even talking shit. I'm saying like this is again. I don't bait and switch. I had to build up the whole thing back to the. Let's get all the way back to the point. I have to do a little review. And then the skippity skips, we still got to all the major main points. Number one, this man is terrified of his brother. They're twins. He knows how badass his brother is. He knows how disciplined his brother is. He knows how thorough his brother is. He knows that if his brother trained other people to be like that, plus his brother has sons, plus his brother's going to train, right, he trained up these dudes to be like this. He's like, these motherfuckers are all badass. So this is why some of these people, they can't do anything. Again, y'all, like, we're not there yet, obviously. But the Simeonites, you know what I'm saying, are a Taché tribe, right? They're a conglomerate tribe. They're an assimilated tribe, right? Because they went down together with Judah to conquer. I forget where they went down to conquer. But it was the Simeonites and the Jehudites. And people forget this so much because I'm sure the Simeonites married into the Jehudite family. And I'm sure there was a concerted effort to make sure that Simeonites never got power. You know? Maybe they would have got everybody killed. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if dudes really were ready to go all the way out for this shit like they're supposed to. You know? I'm always cool with people. I'm sure you guys are all pretty much laid back. But anybody that deals with me, I pretty much think that they have the same type of tendencies, or I have the same tendencies as they do, which is like, I'm going to be cool until I feel like I really need to beat the dog shit out your ass and we ain't got nothing else to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, we come through, we do the righteous. We show up for people. We're going to be the one that pick a nigga up at 4 a.m. 100 miles out the way. But, you know what I'm saying? In the pouring rain or whatever, in the snow, right? Or Western Union them the bread so that way they can figure it out. Like, whatever the fuck got to be done, we going to do that shit. Everybody ain't built like that. And I'm telling you, the dude that was touched by that angel, he was built like that. He all the way out the way. That man said, with all my strength, all my might. You feel me? He said, I went out my way to make sure this nigga shit was right. And he tried to fuck me. And that's how God, and he's saying, no matter what was going to happen, I had it. Because I figured out how to do the shit with the sheep. So I figured it out. You're not going to let me have none of these sheep. Because you're going to come and say all this is his. Right, this is why the laws of Moses say what they say. If a person come into your home and they don't have anything, right? If you come with nothing, you leave with nothing, right? This is because that was foul in the laws of Moses. And if you really look at it, what he's doing is foul as fuck. Word, you know, shitty ass nigga, right? With a good heart. And that sound like every nigga I know, you know? Like, not everyone, but just about the majority. He got some good in him, but he's shitty for that. And that's the facts. Now people saying, look at the Syrians today. Would you want to be a watered down, beak nosed Turk? No, of course not. But these dudes literally ran off with a whole bloodline of people that were special, that were capable of maybe possibly contending against these. We'll never know because these things didn't happen. The way that they played out was that these people never were right with the Most High God. That's why it's like I hate reading it to the people because it's like, I know this story. Do they really know what's going on in that book? Do they realize that the people turned on the Father? They have no love for him like that. Zero. They hate him. Think about that. And again, let's read one more time. Verse 6, chapter 31. And ye too know that with all my might I have served your father. Skip. Where we at? Let's keep going. 1 second. And verse 43, chapter 32. And Laban answered and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, and the sons my sons, and the cattle are my cattle, and all things which thou seest are mine, and the property of my daughters. So just in case anybody thinks I have it confused, it's telling us the perception of the two different people, where one man is saying one thing, but the other man is saying the other thing. And I'm saying that once we get to it, eventually, the laws of Moses will dictate that a man is not supposed to do that. That's the truth. See what I'm saying? If you come into somebody else's domain and they hook you up with a wife, right? And if it's a lady and they hook you up with a husband, you don't get to take your husband and your children that you had in this man's domain or this woman's domain with you. You had them in their domain. If you had it outside of that domain and y'all was together and you know all the foolery that people do didn't bring y'all down, sure. But if you're in this domain, how can you say that what you have is not mine when everything you have you didn't have when you got here? You showed up with the shirt on your back. I'm just saying to y'all, man, this shit is for real. You know, like there's a problem out here with the understanding there's a disconnect. And the disconnect generally starts with people believing that what I'm saying is not real basic. Again, let us read. Therefore, verse 32, chapter 33. Therefore, the children of Israel will by no means eat the sinew which was benumbed, which is on the broad part of the thigh, until this day, because the angel touched the broad part of the thigh of Jacob, even the sinew which was benumbed. Stop right there. If people want me to believe that the Most High God is an angel, they're out of their minds. That the Creator is an angel, they're out of their minds. They're smoking some good shit. Like they're smoking better than whatever I just put up in the air type shit. Clearly. Because this is written the way it's written. So again, if I'm telling the people that the Most High God is giving the skinny to Moses, he's too easy, you know what I'm saying? He's giving him the rundown, I gotta, okay, this is the skinny, you gotta give him the skinny, the long and the short, or whatever you want to call it. When you give somebody the skinny, you don't always tell them every little thing. Word, I don't want all the details, right? I don't want all the fat on it. Chop all that off. So he's getting the skinny of the situation. He's understanding that the bloodline that you come from did what they did. Your people did what they did. Right. This is a fact. And the people whom in which, right, that the people don't think that we are. This is the issue, is that they don't believe that this is our thing. Like, this is what we did, y'all. This is our people. A bunch of people probably out there, they're gonna go and eat some chicken hind, leg quarters. They're gonna tear the thigh part up, the drumstick part for sure. Which is the part that you really ain't supposed to be eating. You know what I'm saying? Word. But what do I know? Anyway, one of these days we're gonna bless the people, y'all, and they're gonna understand. Hopefully, before it's all too late. Real quick, the president of the United States thought it would be a good idea to bomb water solution uh, facilities and bomb places that like people have to get like their water treated at. I would just tell y'all to be extra vigilant going forward. If you know where any water treatment plants are at, you should be extra vigilant when you're driving by. And if you see anything suspicious, you should most definitely take matters into your own hands and not wait for somebody to poison the well. I salute you. I salute you again. I salute you once more. Hey, tomorrow most definitely be better than today. And may your next week, in every single way, shape, form, way possible, everything surpass the last. I say these things to you, brothers and sisters, so that way you can understand right now that indeed, in order for Yaqub to become Israel, he had to be touched by an angel. Spiritual gumbo.